Hey guys, Mike McElwain with another episode of Workout 101 on WorkoutTurn.com. We're going to be using the Smith machine again today. Smith machine is a very good piece of equipment to use. It doesn't get a lot of use by people who don't really understand it. They think it's more of a wimpier type of a movement because you're on a guided surface as opposed to a freestanding barbell. But the Smith machine has a lot of benefits to it that a lot of people just simply don't understand, so don't be afraid of it. We're going to cover an upright row today. Okay, a lot of people do upright rows, and I see a lot of problems when they're doing upright rows, no matter if they're using a free barbell, they're using dumbbells or whatever. There's some key things to understand about what an upright row does. Let's think about it for a minute. An upright row is a multi-joint movement specifically targeting the shoulders. Now remember, the shoulders have three different parts. You have an anterior deltoid, lateral deltoid, as well as a rear deltoid. Three different deltoid heads. When you're doing upright rows, a lot of other things can happen to where you're pulling and using some of your traps. Your biceps can be involved, and also your brachialis in your arm. So a lot of people just don't understand the position that they need to hit in order to actually emphasize the parts that they want to hit. Now, doing it in a Smith machine, it's important to understand that the type of Smith machine you have, this is a body solid Smith machine. Okay. If you notice the angle of this Smith machine here, the angle is coming more back, okay? The angle comes back to where it's about, I would say, it's not perfectly 90 degrees, maybe it's about 75, 80 degrees. So there's a slight angle, and there's a reason for that. It's because as people are doing exercises, they can play around with either foot position or hand position. And plus, as you're pulling such as this, you want to pull the bar to where it comes and travels up more towards your body. You wouldn't want to stand on this side and then work this way, because now as I pull up, the bar is going away from me, and that's not what you want to do. The closer that you can actually get the line of resistance and the line of pull, the line of resistance is the way that gravity or the weight wants to travel. That's always called line of resistance. So if you're on a pulley, in this case you're on a guided Smith machine, the line of resistance is more not at a 90 degree, but about 80, 85 degree angle down. My line of pull has to be consistent with where that direction is. So if I'm too far away, I'm going to lose the emphasis I want to place on the muscles. That's why I have to be more close. And as I pull up the bar, I realize that the bar is coming more towards me because it's guided up. So, and thinking about all those things, it's important to understand it because you've got to know where to stand, where to place your hands in order to target the areas that you want to target. First things first is hand position. A lot of people do upright rows where they get this real narrow grip here and they pull the barbell up, okay? The problem with that is, again, the direction that they're pulling, as they're pulling up, there's bend to where their elbows are more bent in a horizontal fashion, the wrists are down, and they're actually not really getting the direct load because of all these angle changes that you have here, all right? What you want to do is you want to actually place your hands roughly about shoulder width apart. Depending on how wide really just depends on your comfort level. But the idea is to keep your hands, this part, your lower forearm here, in a more 90 degree angle, or at least consistent with the angle that the bar wants to travel against. So if the bar wants to travel down this way, I have to try and keep my forearms here, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling up. My shoulders are rotated forward, and I'm pulling up, okay? The whole thing behind this is you're not going to be able to pull as high as you think you can, and that's the big problem with upright rows. The upright rows are primarily targeted to emphasize both the lateral as well as the rear deltoids. In a lot of cases, the rear deltoids can have more of the emphasis depending on the angle. Your traps too can be involved, but you don't want to shrug the weight up, okay? So the idea here is once you're positioned correctly, I always use a thumb over grip when I'm working on a Smith machine in any pulling exercise. I'm safe, I'm not going to drop the bar, I'm on a Smith machine. If I had a regular barbell, I would wrap my thumbs, but for these purposes, I can play around with my grip a little bit. I get my thumb over. As I come here, I just want to come up, pull my elbows to my ears. And the bar, which you'll notice, is only going to travel right about up to my chest. That's as far up as I can get it. Now, that's okay because the reason why the bar is not as high is because this part of my arm is actually a long lever arm, okay? it's what, about 1.5 feet here. So my elbows can come up, but the bar's not gonna come all the way up unless I do this, unless I pull my hands in. That's how the bar's gonna come up. But then if you're doing that, you're transferring the load not on the area of the body that you wanna hit. So remember, when you're doing upright rows, especially on a Smith machine, and try it on a Smith machine first, because you can really feel the movement and not worry about controlling so much of the bar. And plus, it's a great way, if you really want to emphasize that part of your body, to do them on the Smith machine, then transfer over and do them on the freestanding barbell. So once again, my hand position right about shoulder width apart. Put my thumbs on the outside here, lean back slightly because the angle change, and pull the barbell up. Squeezing at the top, back down slow, up, back down. Letting the bar, keeping as close to my body as possible without hitting my body. Back up. What you're gonna notice is that load is gonna be transferred onto your lateral deltoids, whereas your rear deltoids, you might feel a little bit in your traps. Try and keep that traps, don't try and shrug. Try your best as humanly possible to not let the shoulder rise. Just let it extend as you come up. So this is the Smith machine upright row. If you guys have any more questions about this or any other exercise, please ask me on the Workout Trainer Facebook page. Or you can ask me right here at workouttrainer.com by clicking above on the community section, hitting the drop down that says trainers, find myself, Mike McErlane. You guys can ask me any questions and I will get back to you. If you guys want a workout program that utilizes this specific movement, workouttrainer.com, guys. We have all the workouts, all the programs that you could ever possibly want. From myself, other experts such as Jim Stepani, many more things coming to you guys. We're actually in the new gym studio that Jim Stepani and myself are building together, to where we'll be shooting all this great content coming to you guys in the next couple of months and even possibly years. So until next time, guys, it's Mike McErlane. Take care.